My personal STEM story, which I think is worth sharing with you today, is probably similar to most of you who went to public school between the 1990s and the 2000s. And that is, unfortunately, very short or even non-existent. According to Change the Equation, in almost every state, children will get less time for science in elementary school than they did 15 to 20 years ago. Personally, I never even remember doing science until middle school when it was a required class, and even then it was only more reading with no hands-on activities, science experiments, or even science reports until junior high when science class was finally held in a science lab. Now you may be asking yourself, why does it matter? Well, it matters because our generation of schooling was based on rote memorization, which has become irrelevant in a world where information is universally available in seconds via the internet. Not only that, but according to the National Science Foundation's 2012 Science and Engineering Indicators, 54% of the nation's fourth graders and 47% of its eighth graders report that they never or hardly ever write reports about science projects. 39% of eighth graders report they never or hardly ever design a science experiment. I was flabbergasted when I read this statistic because I was that student, and there are students who are still not receiving a quality science education in today's society. The reason I wanted to share with you my practically non-existent STEM story is because we are continuing to teach by rote memorization. Which, don't get me wrong, there are needs for that skill, and it certainly produces a lot of students that one day in their adult life will be good at trivia night at the local pub. But it doesn't create a generation of problem solvers, innovators, inventors, self-reliance, or logical thinkers. How do we begin to change this? We invest in our most critical stakeholder group, teachers. They are going to be the ones who influence the most individuals. In order to do this, though, we need to have STEM teacher leaders who can lead the change. A teacher leader is a teacher who is taking proactive steps to implement STEM approaches, not only within their own classrooms, but within their school. They also collaborate with their colleagues to help them set up STEM approaches within their own classrooms. It is important to note that STEM education is not a curriculum, but is an authentic learning opportunity for students. In the last several years, STEM education has also begun including the arts, and you may hear it referred to as STEAM. Either way, STEM and STEAM learning approaches allow students to be involved in the learning process. They are able to discover, create, question, and go beyond rote memorization that many of us are used to. As a teacher, we must think of how to restructure what we teach and what students learn. It is no longer about quantity, but about quality learning. Another important aspect of STEM education is the development of curiosity. Scientists don't think of the scientific method. They are trying to push what's possible. You may be asking, why is all of this important? Well, data shows a 26% increase in the STEM workforce, only second to healthcare. We need to begin the process of introducing students at a young age to STEM activities so they can gain interest and pursue STEM degrees and careers. During my experience teaching first grade, I have noticed that when you ask a child what they want to be when they grow up, it is often jobs they have exposure to. For example, teacher, mom, dad, policeman, fireman, or even a doctor. If we don't begin to expose them to the different possibilities, they will not know that fun and creative jobs are within the STEM world. For example, a snow scientist, a tornado chaser, or even a seismologist. Now that we know a little about what STEM is and the importance of it in school, now it is time to discuss the importance within the community. I grew up and now teach in a relatively small town in Idaho of about 10,000, and the other day I was reading the local newspaper and came across an article about the local library getting 3 new 3D printers. I couldn't believe it! Our small town is taking a step towards implementing STEM initiatives and the local level beyond the classroom. Well, I had to talk to them about it and find out more about this great program coming to our small town. So I came up with the following 10 questions to ask. Could you describe your STEM program and its purpose? Who are the stakeholders in this project and what is your target audience? Do you feel the local area is supportive of STEM outreach programs? Do you hold open houses to reach out to the community? Do you collaborate with anyone? For example, other companies, school districts, or teachers? What are your goals for students and patrons? Do you have any advice for non-STEM teachers to move towards adding more STEM opportunities into their own classrooms? Do you feel any students you see are lacking certain skills you expected them to have? Are there any plans in the works to expand your STEM program? Is there a set curriculum used, or is it open inquiry based? Through these 10 questions, I hoped it would guide me to becoming a STEM advocate within my community for this new program. I had the pleasure of speaking with Kurt Petty, one of the librarians who runs the program. He told me the program is just getting off the starting blocks as the 3D printers had just been acquired through a local grant and their overall goal is to incorporate educational engineering opportunities. I did come to learn that they also have circuit blocks, Legos, spear balls, and Edison bots that they bring out for the public to use as well. They are also teaching 3D printing classes during the day to involve not just young patrons, but older patrons as well. The public is the stakeholders, and they're the target audience. They welcome anyone who is interested. In the few minutes I had before the interview began, I saw 3 different librarians talking to individuals about the 3D printers which run all day long. There was a lot of curiosity from the public from all ages. The library also holds monthly open houses and courses throughout the summer months to bring patrons in for STEM activities. They are also beginning to partner with the local Park and Recs organization to create a program called Geared Up for Adventures. The local library's overall goal is to pique curiosity and spark interest with the STEM initiatives, while patrons learn from hands-on experiences. When I asked Mr. Petty about his advice to non-STEM teachers, he said, "Get on the ball. It's all interactive, and people learn more by physically touching and doing." As he said this, I had an aha moment of this would be a great place to bring my students on a field trip because they could have the hands-on experience with tools I do not have access to in my own classroom. When I asked about what students are lacking for skills, Mr. Petty mentioned that many students do not know where to start. They have always been told directions without having the chance to explore and get things wrong. They never have the chance to come up with a different way and to try again. This becomes very difficult, he stated, through their open inquiry plan, as students do not know what to do when they fail. There are also more opportunities in the works for adult outreach using technology, such as building websites and marketing businesses. I thoroughly enjoyed my conversation with Mr. Petty and absolutely love that the library is becoming relevant again in our digital world. Our conversation also changed my perspective on the local entities' play on STEM education. Everyone wants to be involved if they can, but it does take money, which sometimes is hard to come by. It is very interesting to learn that there are many grants available to get technology in the hands of local citizens. After interviewing the local library, which is a non-profit organization available to the general public, I also wanted to speak to someone in the private sector that may have different opinions and possibly deeper advice about STEM initiatives. This led me to interview Nikki Yates from PCS Adventures Lab, a for-profit company that provides after-school STEM education for students in the local area. It is tuition-based, so it has a higher-end clientele. I asked Ms. Yates the same questions I asked Mr. Petty from the library. The STEM program they provide is an after-school program in which students attend once a week for a 75-minute session. There is a theme of the month and students work toward earning badges within that area. The purpose is to expose students through hands-on experiences to various STEM areas. The stakeholder in this company is the CEO, Todd Hackett, and they service students ages 9 to 17. The local area in Boise is very supportive of STEM education, especially because of the STEM Action Center. Open houses are held 4 times a year for parents and the local population to come and see what the students have created. The company does collaborate with others for field trips, the Boise State University STEM Day, and most of the instructors are current college students at the local universities. The company's goal is that every student feels comfortable learning new ideas in STEM, 21st century skills, hold responsible roles, and are confident in the skills they learn. The thing that Miss Yates gave for advice to non-STEM teachers is to dive in and do STEM activities with students. Students can tell when their teacher is afraid of STEM. She also said it is okay to fail with them and to not be afraid because it models how they will also learn throughout the STEM process. The one skill Miss Yates noticed most students are missing is the attention to detail. She also notes that this leads to impatience when things are not instantly gratifying. The company is planning on opening more labs throughout the valley and is working on building their infrastructure. The program is based on a curriculum, but open inquiry by students is also encouraged. The biggest thing I learned from my conversation with Miss Yates was the importance of learning with students and that providing students opportunities for STEM is highly important. How can you be a STEM advocate? Go out and learn what opportunities are offered within your own community, and then share them with everyone you know. Another important thing you can do as a STEM advocate is to participate. Many programs need participation to continue running and providing opportunities to the general public. The last thing you can do is to share expertise you may have with your local schools. Teachers are more than willing to have guest speakers, or even have others teach STEM activities within their classrooms. All you have to do is ask. Just remember, curiosity doesn't kill the cat. It enhances knowledge, and that's a message worth spreading. Thank you.